How do you not like Howie? You know what I'm saying?
Let's give a shout out to the Philly podcast.
Philly, the podcast starring Joe Castro.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. As always, I got my guy Brandon here with me, man. And before we do introduce my special guest, I do want to remind you guys to hit that like, be sure to subscribe, definitely share this with a friend, and you can get $11 off any Philly TP merchandise right now with code Eagles. So definitely check the links in the description for that. But what we are here for is the Carolina Panthers pick. And so I went and got my guy from Panther Nation podcast, and he's going to help us with that. So what's going on, my guy? I appreciate you coming in here, man.
Yeah. What up, man? Anytime, I'm down to rep the Panthers all day. So anytime you need some Panthers representative, I'm here.
Yeah, we got the guy. So before we get into any football, anything like that, just let them know about your channel, what you do over there, because you're pumping out content like daily out there. So I definitely respect it.
Yeah, I'm working hard, man. We've been growing a lot, but you can find us at Panther Nation Podcast on YouTube. We putting out a lot of draft content. So if you are into the draft, the prospects. I do film reaction videos. I'm not going to say they're film sessions because I'm not about to sit up here and pretend like I'm some X's and O genius. So I just react to what I see. I do know the game, but I'm no expert. So if you want to go look at some, and I don't do highlights. I do like to watch the full games just to kind of see what's going on. So as the players progress through the games, we're not just taking a look at highlights and say, "Oh, this is the greatest player I've ever seen." I try to watch an entire video, a couple games, give them about 15 minutes. So yeah, we do prospect breakdowns. We do some fantasy content. My co-host does fantasy content. So yeah, man, we just trying to grow. We trying to, although we Panthers fans, we do have content for other fans as well. So if you're a Philly fan, then you're welcome to come over and sub up.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to have all the links in the description for your channel and everything. So definitely go show some support to my guys. So let's get into what they all came for. Let's talk a little bit of football. Before we get too deep into the pick or anything, just tell me how you're feeling about, Matt Rule, the new direction of your team and everything like that. How you feeling as a Panthers fan right now going into the year?
It's tough, man. It's tough because, we had Cam. And they shitted on Cam. Excuse me, I don't know if I can cuss, but they did Cam dirty. And we brought in Teddy Bridgewater. We were all excited about the potential matchup with Teddy and Joe Brady. They were supposed to come together, and we supposed to have this amazing offense. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. All that was supposed to be amazing, right? And it turned out to be okay. And we left a lot of meat on the bone. We left some wins on the table with that lack of killer at quarterback. I didn't like the pickup initially of Teddy Bridgewater just because I thought if we embraced the rebuild, we would have been able to get our guy in this year's draft a lot earlier, right? And now we're in the situation where we're essentially trying to kick Teddy out the door. They're both you can kind of see. Ownership saying, nah, Teddy ain't the guy. You got Matt Rule saying Teddy not the guy. You got Teddy pretty much saying some innuendos in the press conferences yo, these dudes don't know what they're doing. So it's a lot of we don't know what we're doing essentially. And it's we kind of backed ourselves into a box with the most important position on the field, right? So we thought Teddy was going to be the guy. He's not the guy. And it appears that we're trying to the Rams, they saved us from going out and getting Matt Stafford. We were in talks to go and trade for Matt Stafford. Our ownership, I call it QB thirst. They are thirsty for a quarterback, and it's essentially to me is driving us in the wrong direction, right? You're kicking the can down the road, and it's just you're delaying the inevitable. If you're gonna get a guy, and it's just I don't like the direction of where things are going. Now, outside of the quarterback position, I do like Phil Snow's defense took some time to get going. About halfway through the season, he got it going. We got some real killers out there, and Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns, Derek Brown. We got a real nice young group of defensive guys. But it's okay. I mean, it's okay until we fix the quarterback position. I'm just like kind of wait and see mode about the direction of the Carolina Panthers.
See,
I
Eagles
hope that
fans need
answered
to
the question.
realize. Oh yeah, no. See, Eagles fans, it should make Eagles fans feel even better because like the overall thing that we've heard in this top 10 so far is that everybody's got a little bit of QB issues. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's to the extreme of needing a whole new quarterback or to the extreme of just not knowing who necessarily is the guy. So makes me feel better as an Eagles fan to know we're not the only people in this boat, so to speak. But how do you feel about that, Brandon?
Yeah. So you kept to keep it on the QB situation. Did you miss Cam Newton at all, or were you kind of like, you know what? After what Cam did this season, this is why he's not a Panther.
Listen, for me, it's about respect, right? It's about how you treat players, and I feel like it's bigger than the game. Even with the whole Deshaun Watson talk, it was said from a couple media sources that Deshaun Watson won't come here because of the way we handle the Cam situation. And it's been the Panthers organization as a whole has done some dudes dirty. Like go back to my favorite Panther of all time, Steve Smith. Getting Steve Smith up out of here. D'Angelo Williams, his mom passing it, and nobody went to the funeral. It's just a lot of stuff from the ownership perspective, and not even just Tepper, the old ownership too. We've got a lot of issues with treating players with respect, and sometimes it's bigger. And again, with Cam, it was the last year of his deal, and I think Cam wanted money. He wanted more money. We weren't going to give him that money because of the injury history and whatnot. So I get it. I get walking away from him, but don't send him a text message and be like, "Nah, that's it." He done too much for the city. Right. He did too much for the city, too much for the Carolinas for you to do that man like that. And so it's bigger than just football. I would like to see Cam with these weapons. I would like to see Cam with a Robbie Anderson, with a DJ Moore, with the Curtis Samuel, somewhat healthy, because he never had these kind of weapons. He's never had anything that Teddy Bridgewater had. The offensive line, he's never had that kind of. His offensive lines have been shaky. So I would like to see Cam treat a little bit better, for sure.
Yeah, I think if unless you're going after like a Tom Brady or something, like you guys, no disrespect or anything, but I feel like you kind of made at best a sideways move, going with Teddy Bridgewater. So the whole situation just seems messed up. I hate to keep on harping on quarterback because I know on our channel we talk about it literally all the time, so sometimes get frustrating. Let
me say this: I do like Teddy Bridgewater. I supported Teddy Bridgewater I'm one of the only people, like one of the only Panthers podcasters. There's probably one other podcaster that did support Teddy Bridgewater throughout the season. So I respect. I like Teddy. I think with the right scenario, the man can be successful. He's done it with the Saints, right? He was 5-0, about whatever with the Saints. With a good defense, with a good offensive line, and with good weapons, a lot has to go right for him to be successful. And it's just, and I think Bomani said it best. Teddy Bridgewater is capable. He's a capable quarterback, but he's not capable of leading a bad team. And that's what the Panthers are right now. We're not a good team, and we're not up to the standard of what Teddy Bridgewater needs to be successful. So I like Teddy. It's just not the right fit right now.
Now, that brings me to something else I wanted to talk about. Obviously, we're having our own quarterback turmoil right now. There's been conflicting reports. Some people saying that you guys are prospective trade partners for us. Not likely is what I'm reading from it. But what do you think about Carson Wentz? Would you want your team to go ahead and trade for Carson Wentz, or do you think it's not worth it?
No, I think for me, I'm about, if you're going to go get a guy, I'm about getting a guy in the draft. I don't want to trade unless it's Deshaun Watson, unless it's a surefire a young guy that's capable, that's proven in Deshaun Watson, then I'm taking that. But outside of that, I'm like, man, nah, I'm cool. I'll wait to the draft. And if I want to make that decision there, I'll trade up and get my guy. But I'm going to get a guy on a rookie deal, not a guy with a contract that's freaking ridiculous and he's not performing to it. So I wouldn't do that. I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz per se. I'm more so not a fan of the contract than the player itself.
I respect that. I agree with that. See, I've been saying that from the beginning of the season, and it seems like it's starting to kind of shape that way, that a lot of teams are starting to fade out because of the asking price. So it's, I just kind of want to hear what the fan bases of other teams have to feel about it. We did Detroit's yesterday. We did Detroit's pick yesterday, and they went ahead and picked, as you know, Trey Lance. And his reasoning was exactly basically what you said. You want to get that rookie contract and mold your own guy and not have to take such a risk, especially with the contract. I mean, if Carson Wentz was still on his rookie deal, if this was his 5th-year option, we're talking a total different ballpark. You know what I'm saying? This is a total different conversation. Unfortunately, we're not. Unfortunately, we are where we are. Right. So to now go to your team a little bit more outside of the quarterback position.
Sure.
What, for this pick, what are some of the needs that you guys want to fill? What are some of the areas you want to improve through this draft?
I mean, we saw in the Super Bowl, right? The game is won in the trenches. And I feel like the Panthers have neglected offensive line for a long time. I think the last time we drafted an offensive lineman in the first round was back in 2008, Jeff Ota. And listen, the proof is in the pudding, right? Like, our offensive lines haven't been good. So I think offensive line is something we need to focus on. I think DB, obviously cornerback. I think just came out yesterday that we weren't going to re-sign Rasul Douglas. You guys are familiar with Rasul. Played pretty well up here. I think he did fine, or down here. Excuse me. He did pretty good. I like Rasul. Brought good leadership. I think it's a huge mistake not bringing him back. But if they don't bring him back, that leaves a gaping hole at cornerback. So I think cornerback is an option. It just depends. It depends who's there and how the draft falls.
Yeah, maybe it's just to keep it on the defense. Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. The Eagles need depth. Just the other day, me and Joe were live, and we were just kind of breaking down the Eagles corners, and we came to a realization that it ain't looking too good. So
yeah, we got like 3 corners.
Oh, don't cry. Are you?
All right, so just to keep it on the defense. How was it not having Luke Kuechly there this season? Do you feel like maybe filling that hole is a lot harder than it seems? But like, I know you mentioned corner and defensive line, but what about that middle linebacker complete leader?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Luke was so damn good. I call him the greatest middle linebacker to ever play the game personally. I mean, that dude was so great. His play diagnosis and being able to diagnose plays and kind of just get in other huddles and see what's happening before it happens. I mean, you're not going to replace that dude. It's not happening. It's not fair to anybody. We've tried to do it, and you're just not going to replace Luke. Luckily, he is in our personnel scouting department. He's still around. But yeah, man, it's tough replacing him. And I think linebacker is important. It's important. I think, I still like the trenches. I think middle linebacker, you kind of miss it when you don't have a good one, but when you have a good one, it kind of elevates the position and you kind of see the importance. So I don't know. You're never going to replace Luke though. It's good luck. It's not happening.
Yeah, you guys lost some like key veterans. I mean, obviously Cam and Luke.
Greg Olsen. We lost Greg.
It's crazy. I mean, we're kind of in that position right now. I don't know how old you are, but like at this age, I've seen like one full roster, rebuild for my team. I think this is going to be like the second one I'm going to see. Usually you see like it trickle on, and but at some point that whole core just kind of they're out, and it's the worst feeling. Yeah. I tell you, it is the worst feeling. But so to go over the top 7 real quick, I want to know: is there anybody necessarily that went off the board that you're looking at like, damn, that was somebody I was hoping would drop to us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Justin Fields is a guy that I want. And Justin Fields, if he's there, if he falls past the first 2 picks, I'm all about trading up to go get him. So I like Justin Fields a lot. Reminds me a lot of Cam. Same kind of game. Not as that physical runner that Cam was, but I do think Joe Brady could utilize him or whoever the offensive coordinator is past Joe Brady, because I think Joe Brady's going to be out of here as soon as he gets a job offer on the table. So, but yeah, I think Justin Fields is really good. I think that's really it. Can you remind me who else went?
Yeah, so we got Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Devontae Smith, Justin Fields, Penny Sewell, Jamar Chase, and then Trey Lance.
Yeah, other than that, just Justin Fields is the only guy that I wish would have fell. I think realistically, I think he has a chance to fall. I think the draft for us really starts at that Falcons pick. Depending on what they do with quarterback, I think that really dictates where we go. So Justin Fields is a guy I think could fall. Trey Lance, I'm cool with Lance. And if he's there and Justin Fields is gone, I would have taken Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is solid. I think he's good. I think he needs some time to sit. But I think Justin Fields is a guy that you can play right away. So I think I'm taking Justin Fields over Trey Lance personally.
Now, how do you feel about this season? Is this season a full rebuild? Are you ready for a full rebuild, or do you think you can maybe? Because I mean, you guys weren't horrible. I mean, your offense was decent last year.
They didn't have McCaffrey for most of the year.
Yeah. McCaffrey went down in week 2, so we didn't have McCaffrey. I think we did. I will say this: we did much better than I expected us to do. I had zero expectations for this year. I thought that Matt Rule, coming from the college ranks, I mean, he did okay given the circumstances. He did okay with what what was given to him. Again, the defense started off really slow, and they came along during the back half of the season. It's like our offense started out hot, and then the defense was trash, and then it just flopped. Our defense was great, and our offense was trash. And if you can can get that blend for both of them to play well, I think we'll be fine. But I think for us, it really starts at the quarterback position, right? Who's going to be our quarterback? And I think it's really, at this moment in time, at the filming of this, it's really, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know who's going to be our quarterback. So if we roll with Teddy Bridgewater, I think we could win an additional 2 or 3 games, maybe go 9-7, 8-8, potentially make a playoff push for that 7th spot. And if it's not him and we hit the reset button and go to rookie, then you're kind of back where we were this past season. Like, you're kind of like, all right, you got to give him some chance to grow. You can't expect a rookie quarterback to come out there and just win right away. That's not my expectation anyway. I think you got to be realistic with these rookie quarterbacks. So it just depends on what we do with the quarterback position. Honestly, I really don't have any expectation until we figure out who the quarterback is.
Facts.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, I feel like, are in a pretty good position in like a rebuilding phase in a sense, because the rest of your division, let's say Brady's there for another year, maybe 2, and that's kind of pushing it. You figure Drew Brees is going to be gone, and they have cap troubles worse than anyone else in the league. And then the Falcons, Matt Ryan himself is going to be gone soon, and you figure Julio is going to be gone soon. So I feel like, and you can let me know your opinion, that you guys are kind of already ahead of the game in this rebuilding phase.
Well, that's the thing. I think if we would have taken that patient route and been a little bit more patient with the quarterback position and not signed Teddy and roll what we had, that would have accelerated even more, right? But we signed Teddy. We kind of just kicked ourselves back a year with the quarterback position. And so, like, I think you're right. I mean, if you look at the division, you've got Tom Brady, who's maybe around for another year or so. And then you've got, Drew Brees is going to be gone. Matt Ryan is aging, getting ready to get out of here. So if we're patient with this, and that's what I tell my listenership all the time, we got to be patient. Like, we can't go out there and expect to make the playoffs and just be great. If you're patient, build this thing 1 year at a time through the draft, not signing any stupid contracts, and just be patient. We have really good cap space. I think we're about average as far as the cap goes. Right now, and we have some moves to make as far as getting some more cap space. You got K'Wan Short, who has a big contract. He's only played 5 games in 2 years. And you've got you can think we free up about $9 million, letting him go. Stephen Weatherly, that's about $6 million, let him go. So we can free up. I think, if I calculated this morning, we can free up about $30 million, get up to about $30 million in cap space with the cap dropping. And that will continue to be up better and better every year as soon as we get rid of Teddy Bridgewater's contract. Once that quarterback contract is off the books, then you're in that, I call it the Super Bowl window. Once you get the quarterback, you're in the Super Bowl window with the rookie quarterback, and that's when you go all in, right? You start to put the cherries on top, the free agents. So yes, we are in a really good position if we're patient. If we start to go out there and start to sign some guys to lucrative contracts, and before we get the rookie quarterback, then we're kind of just pushing the envelope a little bit too quick. So it's all about being patient. If we're patient, we're good. If not, then it is what it is.
Yeah. Last question. The last thing I want to say before we get into the actual draft stuff. I feel the same, honestly, about the Eagles. Like, the only thing that differs with us, because right now we have a Jalen Hurts who, we see, we'll figure out what he is, but he's cheap. We have a high enough pick that if they want to go that quarterback factor. You guys have quarterback thirst. We have a quarterback factory. It's terrible over here. So we have a position in the draft that we could go ahead and grab a future quarterback if that's what they want to do, and he'll still be cheap. So we are in a position, I feel like, as the Eagles, we could figure some things out pretty quick. Now, the difference over here is we have Howie Roseman. So the reason why I asked that, I bring him up, is because I want to know, like, how do you feel about your franchise, about your front office through a rebuild? Do you trust that they'll be able to make the right decisions?
Man, that is such a loaded question, bro, because we did it completely. We did it ass backwards, man. And it kind of pains me to talk about this because we could have had the combination of Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. We had that. We had that literally in front of us. We interviewed Andrew Berry. The only thing that stopped us from getting Andrew Berry was not demoting Marty Hurney. And what did we do this year? We ended up letting Marty Hurney walk. So it's like we couldn't bring. And you guys, Andrew Berry came from you guys, right? So you guys stopped us from bringing him over because it would have been a lateral move. He didn't get that promotion, and because Marty Hurney was currently in the general manager position, and we wouldn't let Marty Hurney, we either wouldn't demote him or move his position, and that just set us back. And so we did end up bringing on Scott Fitterer, who came from the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have done okay. I'm nervous about the offensive line and building the offensive line. You just hear Russell Wilson talking about the lack of investment in the offensive line and being complained about getting hit a lot. That's the same issues we already had. So I don't know how much involvement he had. I know he was kind of like the scout, over the college, the director of college scouting and all that. But I don't know how much say he had in who they picked. So I don't know. The proof is really going to be in this offseason. I don't know we'll see where they decide to go. If there's no investment in offensive line, then I'm going to be nervous because we really need to invest there. So I don't know. Right now, if you ask me this right now, I don't have a faith in our front office at all. Right? No faith.
Well, we have Fire Howie shirts over here. So if you need like a fire, whoever your GM is, you let me know. I got you on shirts. I got you. So the last question I like to ask before we actually do the pick itself is, we all have, what our dream scenarios are. We all know what we want to happen, right, as fans, and we all have that draft crush that we want to get picked. But we also have that one thing that we don't want to happen. What is that?
Oh, I got it. I got the answer right. I already. The worst scenario, the worst thing that could happen would be us picking Mac Jones at 8. That is the worst thing, and I can see it happening because we coached him at the recent Senior Bowl. Our coaching staff was there.
That's true.
And I saw a little bit of thirst happening there. It was a little bit of gushy eyes. And the worst thing that could possibly happen would be us drafting Mac Jones at 8. It's the worst scenario. Because as soon as you said it, I already knew where you were going, bro. And we've already had this discussion. That could be the worst thing that could happen, is drafting Mac Jones at 8, bro. I'd flip my wig, bro.
You think his performance in the national championship is kind of like a fluke?
No, I don't think. I think Mac Jones is a great player. I feel the same way about Mac Jones as I feel about Teddy Bridgewater. They are the same player to me. If you put the optimal the scenario around Mac Jones, he's going to be just fine, bro. But if you don't have the offensive line, listen, Mac Jones had it all laid out on the red carpet for him at Alabama. He had the running back, all the damn receivers in the world, the great offensive line. He had it. And he had a great coordinator, too. The coordinator, they drew everything up perfect. That scenario is not going to happen with the Carolina Panthers, not in this particular moment. So I don't think Mac Jones would be a good fit. His confidence would be destroyed immediately, because I think he's a good player. It's not to say that Mac Jones isn't a good player. But if we were to pick him, if we were to trade back, pick him like in the 20s or something, I'd be all right. But at 8, I can't see it at 8.
I've said, I think my prediction was that there would be either like 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the top 12. And that's really on if Mac Jones I think Mac, just like you said, that Senior Bowl definitely opened people's eyes, because I'm a Penn State fan, so I was talking to somebody about Shaka Toney, and I was like, if he goes in the 4th or 5th, I'm happy. That's pretty good for him. And they're like, oh, he was going crazy at the Senior Bowl. He's shooting up. I'm like, oh, all right. So people, especially this year without, any off season or anything like that, little stuff like that is going to mean way more than it ever did. So we could see some weird picks. But So let's get into it. Let's get into what everybody's been waiting for, man. I appreciate you taking the time coming here and
Yes, sir.
talking some football with us. Like I said, all of his links will be in the description, so please do go check him out. Show some love. You know, it's the Philly way. It's the Philly way. So at number 8, who will the Carolina Panthers select?
All right, so no need for the drum roll. I think let me just say this because I want to preface this, because if this draft really fell the way it falls, or if it falls the way it looks like right now, I would trade back. And obviously this is not a part of the rules because I'm looking for the quarterback. Right, the quarterback isn't there. I'm trading back, and I'm gonna take one of the tackles later in the draft. But the way it is right now, I think I'm gonna go Patrick Surtain. I'm gonna go Patrick Surtain at 8. I think he's gonna be the best player available. I'm kind of on the fence. I was gonna think about taking Rashawn Slater right there. That's why I said I would like to trade back, because if I trade back, I could probably get either Christian Darrisaw or Rashawn Slater right there, and I address the left tackle. But the way this fell, and obviously there's no trades, I'm gonna go Patrick Surtain BPA.
I respect that.
No Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons wasn't on your mind at all.
Yeah, no, I like Micah Parsons, but I think I'm all about positions of value, right? And I think cornerback is a higher position of value than a middle linebacker. And I think he's great. I think Micah Parsons is great. I think he's a good fit. I know he's got the legal, well, not legal, but the whole thing with the
a bunch of rumors,
with all that stuff, whatever that is. I don't like to get into all that either because I just don't like talking about stuff like that. But it would have been good to pair him up with Yetur Gross-Matos. But yeah, no, I think that would have been all. Parsons is a good pick, man. I like Parsons. I just don't think it's about positions of value. I think cornerback is a higher position of value for me.
I'm a Penn State fan. I got to try and push him off. I'm trying to get him out of this top 10. You know what I'm saying? But how do you feel about that, Brandon?
I think Surtain's a great pick. He's obviously played against the top competition in college in the SEC. He's fast. He's very hands-on. Joe did a reaction video to his highlights, and he it looks like he might be a little handsy, but I like the aggressiveness. I like corners that are in the wide receiver space. You might get called on a penalty here and there, but just let them know, like, I'm not someone you can push around. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be in your face. So I respect that. And like you said, Rasul Douglas is he may be gone. He may be resigned or something. So you got to fill that hole. And what better not, especially during a rebuild phase, getting a corner that can, if this year isn't your year, he can learn the ropes and then be good for the year after.
Yeah, and again, just to reiterate what you said, had that news not come out about Rasul Douglas, I would have went Rashawn Slater. But the fact that we just said we're not going to re-sign Rasul Douglas, we've got to adjust the cornerback position, man. We've got Dante Jackson, who is really a slot guy. You got Troy Pride, who had a really rough rookie season. Stanley Thomas Oliver, who was a 7th-round pick last year. It's no depth back there, so. It's a really huge need for the Panthers. And I like Caleb Farley too. I think Caleb Farley has a lot of question marks. He's very, very raw. But so that's why I went with the known factor in Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain's been doing this. What did Tom say? I mean, he was running cone drills at 3 years old, like that.
Yeah,
because he was born to play football. So I mean, that's a great pick. I know a lot of my subscribers love Patrick Surtain, so they're going to be disappointed to see him go off the board. But listen, man, if you guys get to the draft and it's going like this, and you're like, damn, there's no more quarterbacks, the Philadelphia Eagles might be able to help you out there. You know what I'm saying?
We good. We good on Carson Wentz, bro. Don't try to pass him off to us. Nah, we good. And listen, I think Carson Wentz is solid, man. I think he's solid. It's just that contract, bro. I can't take that contract.
I respect this. So at number 8, the Carolina Panthers will be taking Patrick Surtain. This should be interesting. It only gets crazier. So I know a lot of people are probably upset that Patrick Surtain is gone, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments about the pick. And again, man, thank you so much for coming on, taking your time, and just talking some football with us, brother.
Yeah, anytime, man. Shout out to the Panthers, man. Keep pounding.
Yes, sir. So y'all know what it is, man. Other than that, it is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out, Chad. Peace.